John, I hadn't really thought about the uniform of martial arts or karate in this instance, and how it's a great equalizer, and how important that was for you to be just have that level playing field and be able to just be stand your own on your work ethic and your focus and all of that stuff. So I'd love to explore that a little bit further with you, from you starting to do karate, for you moving up the ranks, and now you're known as sort of Master John, right? Like you've got some esteem in what are you? Is it fifth Dan?
Eighth Dan.
Eighth Dan in Muay Thai, was it, or karate?
Karate and an Arjan in Muay Thai, which means like master of Muay Thai, master teacher.
Okay.
And a Hall of Famer. So that's where you get recognized by your peers for dedication and commitment to the industry and achievement. So very, very lucky.
Well, take us back to when you started to fight and compete, and what was your life like? What were you doing? You know, I'm just interested in building that picture out a little bit of how you surged forward in those formative, I guess, teenage, young adult years.
Right. So like, I actually, because I was working part-time in Waltons, I don't know if you know, Jerry Harvey owned it back then, and before Harvey.
I remember
Norman.
the name. Yeah.
So Waltons, so a bit of retail experience there, and I was working mowing lawns and washing cars still when I wasn't there. And then, I left school, and Dad had said to me, you're going to go straight on the dole, and I wouldn't do that. So I went riding my push bike around, and I got a job as a brickies labourer when they were building a new suburb out at Mount Pleasant in Penrith. And I stayed on that job for one house and realised this is not me, And then I actually was looking in the newspaper and got a job working for Ribbon F Scarf selling menswear. But I started as a stock boy, and 16-year-old stock boy. Worked my way up to a 19-year-old manager, company executive, and then I had 3 shops. And while I was doing that, I was, practicing karate and teaching karate. So, karate is what I wanted to do. But unfortunately, Dad was charging me, $50 a week board back then at 16. And if I didn't pay it, I had to get out. And so I needed that job while I practiced karate. But I would train 2 hours in the morning before work and 2 hours every afternoon after work. So I, put the effort in so that I could be, at 13, I said, I'm going to be a full-time professional karate instructor. And at 27, I left all work, and that's what I was, So
that's remarkable discipline. Most people don't have that, myself included.
I never considered it to be disciplined or to be different. I just considered it just a way of doing things and surviving. I didn't know that anyone was, I thought if that's what you want to do, you just go out and do it. So I didn't know. Yeah, I just didn't know any different other than if I want something, I want to eat, or I've got to work for it.
Go mow some lawns.
Go mow some lawns, man, and knock on doors and, can I mow your lawn? Can I wash your car? And,
wow. That's almost like an immigrant story, just that drive to succeed and do the thing that others aren't prepared to do or don't want to do.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. I mean, I'm going to be straight and honest with you. I didn't even consider anything other than I need to eat,
just
to
had
survive,
to be done. Yes.
And if I got to keep Dad happy, I need to bring money home, right? So that I could, I didn't have to worry about the belt. It was motivational stick.
Not much carrot going around at your place.
Oh, mate, I got to tell you, and I did not like that stick. So I was motivated not to be on the receiving end.
John, I have a question to ask you, and I'll give you a bit of background. In the 70s, for various reasons, I studied Eastern religions, and now I know that my life has actually been a quest for meaning, but my understanding of many of those religions is they have a fighting discipline which can be channeled into saving the culture if it is a threat by an enemy, or can be channeled into a higher level of spiritual awareness. Is this the case with karate?
Yeah, look, I think all real martial arts, especially traditional ones, develop the three elements. So we've got the body, the mind, and the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So you build the body up to turn it into a weapon, not necessarily just for fighting, but you condition it. You make it stronger physically.
You can handle life better.
You can handle life better. Then mentally, the mind, you fill it full of knowledge, how to guide those weapons, right? How to throw particular techniques, how to get your body moving the way it should move. And then the spirit, that's the decision-making part of the person, the character you develop through the mental and physical training. The discipline that's required to forge the body into a weapon, to commit mentally. So for me, for example, every Friday night, all my friends went to the local pub. I didn't get involved in that. I went training first and then went after. So the discipline, not to do the party thing, but to stick with what you're doing. So you develop that mental toughness, and then you develop the character with those two things and the decision-making part of the person. You develop a strong spirit, and that's you make good decisions or bad decisions with that wisdom, which we call spirit, to guide the weapons, both mentally and physically, that you forged. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I have. You're talking about weapons. They can also be used for defensive purposes against a threat from outside to counter it.
Yes. But you need to build that strength.
Of course you do.
To be able to defend. And the ultimate, sometimes the best defense is offense, sometimes. But when we're talking about real defense physically, you have to have the skill to fight, so that you have the self-belief and confidence not to.
That you don't have to fight, because they pick
no
up
ego.
that you can fight.
Yes.
That's right.
Wow.
So you have enough self-belief that you don't care what they think, that you have the strength
There's no fear. Well, there's limited fear.
to talk them out of it, or to
Yes.
walk away. It's that ego, the fear, the non-belief in yourself that makes you say, I'm going to smash this guy so my mates think I'm tough.
Right.
So not worrying about what your mates think or what anyone else thinks, that's the point you want to get to, where you have, I don't care what anyone else thinks in life. I do what I want to do in life without worrying about what will he think if I do that, or what will she think if I do that. And it's a good point in life to be in, where you make decisions and live your life without the fear of what others will think of you.
In short, it's being grounded.
Yeah.
Grounded in yourself, grounded in your sense of community and your awareness. And funnily enough, and this is getting a bit esoteric, but potential adversaries can kind of smell it, and they'll leave you alone without the need for any conflict.
Yeah. Well, let me just, can I elaborate on that?
You please?
Yes, please.
So you've got, let's talk about criminals. Criminals look for the path of least resistance. They'll steal, they'll rob, so they don't have to work to earn. They'll take yours. So being a criminal, they'll look for the calf to cut away from the herd. They won't tackle the bull.
Correct.
They know that the calf is going to be an easy target. So if you're walking with if you're walking with your head down, if you're walking without confidence, if you're looking like you're a little bit of a victim, you're more likely to become a victim.
They've actually just got a study out on that scientifically proves that. They studied a bunch of criminals, and they asked, who would you pick on the street to rob or mug or what have you? And it was all those qualities you just mentioned. It was a certain gait. It was a certain, stooping of the shoulders. It was a nervous glance.
Yes.
So yes, you're right. The body cues. It's the weak.
They look for weakness.
Yeah. And
they look for weakness, and they try and capitalize on that.
There were studies decades ago that did the same thing. And funnily enough, one of the potential targets that the criminals could identify in the visual display was a weak little old lady. Another one was a big, strong man with lots of muscles. And they said him, because of what you just described. His gait, his sense of lack of self-confidence, and the little old lady was just left alone. And it wasn't because she was a little old lady and they respected little old ladies. I mean, these were professionals who would hit anyone.
Well, let me tell you that martial arts, I don't know if you've ever heard of the term Zen before.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay, so Zen practice is a path of self-discovery.
Mm-hmm.
So through proper martial arts training, you learn a lot about yourself. You know, that you can be lazy and, you know, what can you do to alleviate the, you know,